Legion Tactical Cutlery.
Hold the line!
Hey everyone, how you guys doing? Grugs here at Legion Tactical Cutlery. Welcome back, troops, legionnaires, and any new recruits. We're pretty close to Thanksgiving, man. Pretty excited. All right, in front of you today, we have the Fintiso Apollo in 14C 2010 steel. And we're going to put it to the test in the outdoors. Troops, what you carry today? What is your EDC? I am carrying this Apollo today, but beside the Apollo, I have my Corona saw, and I'm going to be using it as a companion to this knife. What are you all carrying today? Veterans, active military, just want to say thank you very much for your service. Enjoy this video. Quick specs, troops, let's go over it. Once again, this is the Fintiso Apollo. Overall length, 7.8 inch. Blade length, 3.3 inch. Blade steel, 14C 28N. Blade hardness, 60 to 62 HRC. Blade lock is a liner lock. Handle length is 4.5 inch. Handle thickness is 1.1 inch. Handle material is a Damascus Pattern G10 in red and black. Weight of this knife is 3.6 ounces, and it features a flipper, thumb hole, a pocket clip, liner lock, and ball bearing pivot. Quick close-up, troops. Check out that blade. I love this blade. It is a flat ground mid saber. It does have a generous thumb hole, although my personal preference would have been, just make this a closed fuller with the same design, and you could still open it. It has a small tab, which I think is kind of small. I just wish it had a few more millimeters to this, because I don't know, to me it seems like I don't have enough, tab, and it just might be me. It still works, however. Ball bearing, pivot point, so it's pretty awesome. 14C20N steel. It's got a generous sharpening choil, and I guess if you're careful, you could use it for some close-up work with the hand, which I'm going to try and do, probably with gloves. That beautiful G10 Damascus pattern. It's got a maroon and black color. I love it. The ergonomics are excellent. Finger grooving is excellent. When I hold it, it feels really good. As always, a clip is always going to give some form of a hot spot, but this one is not too bad. Let me turn this over. Check this out. Now, listen, I did a Legion premiere of this knife, so it'll be a lot more detail. Go check that out, okay? But for now, this is what I'm showing you here, and it's really nice. The detent is okay. It won't close on your finger, so it's done right, and it flips open good. Now, we're going to do some batoning. We're going to do some carving, and like I said, I've got some meats we're going to be testing this on, and some ribs. So just hold fast, troops, hold fast, and we will get to all of it. Now, the work that I'm going to be doing out there outdoors is light work, okay? So let's get to it. Like I had mentioned in the beginning, I am going to be using this knife in conjunction with my Corona saw. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut up this area right over here with the saw. Then I'm going to, cut this in half again, and then we're going to test out this knife. So give me a few seconds with a couple of different pieces. Okay, troops, I used the saw to cut up pieces that I wanted to do demonstrations with. So I know some of you aren't going to like this, but I am going to do a little bit of batoning, okay? And I'm wearing the gloves so I don't cut myself, because, after so much practice with this, I've kind of figured out a good way to baton safely. So I've got the knife in a 90-degree angle. And I'm just going to go down until it's loose enough I can engage the liner lock and then split right down the log. Okay, so very nice, very nice. And one of the reasons why I want to test this out this way also is because on Amazon, people says that this knife chips. So I've already done some testing with this knife with meat and pre-testing with wood, and I haven't gotten any chips. And but you never know. So let's keep going. Once again, I'm going to make little quarters here. Using the knife smart. I didn't even have to engage the lock this time. Perfect. Okay, perfect size pieces. The pivot point isn't being impacted. The liner's lock is not being impacted in this scenario. And the blade, I'm letting it glint in the light of the sun, no chip. Okay, now let's try it again with this one right here. 90-degree angle. Whoops. Okay, engage the lock, push down. I've got my split here, okay? Let me do it on this piece right here. I have the lock engaged, all right? Just enough so I can work the knife down the piece of wood. You know, if you don't like the idea of batoning. However, this is pretty tight right now. It's wedged in there. So once again, I'll go back to the 90-degree. Let's see. Do I see any kind of chipping? Again, I got it in the sunlight. I've got no chipping here, so whoops. I mean, we're looking good here, okay? Let me get my other glove on. I want to try something a little bit different that I've done in the past before, and it seems to work. So far, so good. I've got both gloves on. I want to just try something here. I mean, these are pretty decent pieces, you know, for a small fire. Again, for those who may not like the idea of using their folder to baton, maybe, just maybe, I'm going to try thirds now, okay? Smaller piece, and then you just use, you know, your hand to, you know, start a small cut in the wood. With the lock engaged, by the way. Okay. And then once again, you could use your strength, sharpness of the blade, the wedge, to cut all the way through. Okay, so, and once again, I don't see anything, man. I just don't. And there was also a subscriber who mentioned that the steel was quote unquote not good because they put it underneath a microscope and there was microchipping. Well, I don't got a microscope. You know, I'm not making fun of the guy or nothing, but like I told him before in the comment, I'll strop it out, you know, or I'll hone it out, strop it out, and it should be good to go. And as you could see, okay, it did a nice little job. Now, let's try something a little bit thicker. Why not? Okay, we got 90-degree, but I definitely want to make sure I have meat to hit the blade, but now I have the little tip over here, nice and easy. I'll just baton that tip while applying pressure back here. Okay, and look at that, we got through it, right? The lock is fine, it's engaged, there's no wobble, there's no play. Okay, so I mean, I wouldn't recommend you all doing this. Again, we're just testing it out. My main reason for doing it, for testing the wood like this, is to see if I experience any kind of chipping. But I don't know, man. This looks good so far. So I'm personally satisfied. I don't know how much of this wood, you know, how much work these other people did with their knives that commented like this, that it started chipping, but so far so good. I mean, you could see how it's doing very well with making the curls. So let's do some carving tasks. Okay, now I wish I could, you know, go to a sapling tree, bend it, and then use the knife to help break it. I'm at a county park. I unfortunately can't do that. So the next best thing I've got is to, you know, just grab a stick that was on the floor, and what I'll do is I'm gonna start digging in. So let's say this is a big branch, which I have shown before. You know, you just want to start digging in. All right. Actually, let me make the notch. And I'm applying quite a bit of pressure right now, and the ergonomic handle feels pretty good. I was kind of worried about, you know, should I wear a glove or not, but so far so good. And I could use my thumb to assist, you know. But again, I guess if this is a sapling, and this is hard. This is not a sapling, you know. This is a hard piece of wood. You know, you would use the other hand to bend the sapling down. However, you know, I have to hold it. And, you know, just digging in, okay? And again, you could use your thumb. In this case, if it's a little bit more controlled and you're not holding the sapling. But the sharpness of the knife is good. And, you know, I'll check the edge. I don't know, it looks good, man. It looks good to me. So every Fintiso I've tested out so far, and the proof is in the videos, they work very well. Again, maybe you're making a tri-stick, and this might be a good beginner knife for you. The pocket clip is a little long, so I noticed that I'm moving it left and right, you know? So just be aware of that. All right, I'm using different parts of the blade to try and accomplish this task here. And this is a good example because this is a hard piece of wood, not, you know, not a springy sapling. And you could already see that, you know, as I was applying some pressure, the wood is starting to bend, which is okay by me. You know, the goal is to get the job done. I mean, you could see it's nice and clean. You know, this is nice little flat area over here, and then you can see possible point. You know, you can make a point out of this, or something flat, chamfered, but basically, all right, so if it was a sapling, it would break. Okay, now you've got a nice long piece of wood that you could take and utilize for whatever reason. All right, and let's use this piece to make a tent stake. I did use the point there to get in nice and deep. So here's my flat little area. In fact, you know what? I want to make it even flatter, so let's use the point. Okay, reverse grip now. Excellent. I love the belly. The belly's going to come in handy if you're cutting up game, you know, fish, turkey, bird, trout, whatever, you know. So as you can see, the steak or the tent steak that I'm making, you know, I got a nice little chamfered area over here. And as you just witnessed, you know, I used the point. And so far, everything is good here. All right, opens up nice. I don't see any kind of noticeable chipping. All right, so we're looking good. Now, obviously we can make a notch. Okay, you're starting to see the notch is taking form, and that beautiful clip over here, you know, with that nice belly, I'm able to get in nice slices, and then that belly, I'm rocking it back and forth, you know, to keep digging in on that notch. Okay, just again, a small example. If you're a primitive hunter and you know you've got this on you, you could easily make something, you know what I mean? For a trap. So now let's do an example of a point, and you could see it's digging in. A little knot area. Good, I'm going through that knot. So let's, you know, I'll take a good close look at the edge. Here we go. All right, now, let me just take a look in the sunlight. Troops, you're gonna have to take my word for it. You know, maybe this knife is out of a good batch. I don't know. But that looks good, man. That edge looks good. I don't see any chips. Let's, let me just... I'm taking off the bark so it's nice and sharp. I don't feel anything hanging up. So my point to you is nothing obvious right now. Just nothing obvious. you know what? I'm good to go with that. Now I just want to use the tip a little more and make some individual curls and feather sticks. So let me set that up. I could baton this, but again, the whole point of this is to do a little, tip testing. All right, that's what I wanted to do, because I want to break it in half. Okay, that's what I have to be careful. Those, the rolling, that's scary. Okay. Tip is good and it's there. That's important. So okay. And I'm just using the blade to wedge through. Let me do it one more time for everybody. Okay, beautiful. Tip's still there, and it's doing the job. Great. It's not the prettiest feather stick, doesn't have to be. All right, now, it's not too windy, so you could see I'm making the curls here. So let me try the front part of the blade here too. So I don't even need that choil to choke up on. The handle is so nicely ergonomic, feels great. You could see the nice curls that I'm making, so after that bit of abuse that probably nobody would use this knife, the way I did. Because again, remember, it's a channel that tests out knives. All right, just want to show you the quality of Fintiso. And you can make a huge pile of these. And, spark it up. All right, so now let's, I got this fresh piece over here. Let's make some feather sticks, right? Which I'm pretty confident that will do just fine. Let me just take off the bark. So even if you find a ton of twigs on the floor, right, you still might want to create a feather stick to light everything up, because feather sticks are really nice, man, when it comes to lighting up a fire. You make a bunch of feather sticks, you put it in a pile along with this, and then you start adding all the, the twigs and the larger stuff, man. I do appreciate feather sticks. And you could see that even after that abnormal, use of the knife, feather sticks are just amazing. And you could see how ergonomic this feels in my hand. I mean, it feels like, it's part of my hand. And believe it or not, that clip is not bothering me while I'm making these feather sticks. There we go, man. Check that out. Okay, we got a nice little pile right here. We got the feather stick, and we have a pretty nice knife doing the job. I used the point. The point is there. Looking good. I don't think we're going to get any kind of scraping, but no. Well, maybe very, very little. But I guess you know what? Let me see what I can do here. Get rid of some of this bark. I got a nice angle, and the whole point of this test is to see how the liner lock works when I got the knife in this grip over here. So let's see. There is no spine here to do any work. Let me try the jimping area. Very little. Again, a lot of effort when you could be doing this or making these, right? So spine, again, as I always say, if you have talent, you take it to a grinder or maybe the workshop sharpener over here, and you sharpen that up. I like the knife the way it is. I mean, I would use the back of my saw to do the scraping if I really needed it, but as far as this doing scraping of wood, no go. There's better out there. Let's try some camp tasks. All right, I got some paracord, thick, thin, natural rope, twist tie. I got some fat wood. I don't think it's going to work, but I'm going to try the ferro rod. But I wanted to show you, I do a lot of work off camera too, believe it or not. And lately, these past couple of months, I've been testing stuff on my own, but I wanted just to show everybody how nice and long these curls are. Well, let me see if I could do it now for you all now. But look how nice and long I'm making these curls, man. That's to me, that's pretty cool. So the knife is still, extremely sharp in my opinion, especially if I'm doing this. So making these nice long, very thin curls here, that's insane to me. And again, everything works well. Detent, flipping open, making some really nice long curls here for a fire. So let me just put this away and then we'll get to the camp task. So give me a second. Okay, let's try a twist tie. Twist ties should be very functional, out in the field, in camp, law enforcement, etc. I cut myself, I don't even know how. I got blood somewhere, but okay, in any case. So easy. I've got a thin piece of rope over here. You want to get specific, you want a certain length. Okay, good. Now if you want to just make a loop, beautifully done. I got a little bit thicker piece over here. Let's do the same thing again. Let's say if you want to shred your the jute, I think it's called. If you shred it, you can cut it specific sizes, make it even smaller, and you bunch it up, and you spark a ferro rod. You light, you light a what do you call it? A lighter. If you have a lighter, match, whatever. There you go. All right, let's make a loop of this thick stuff. Okay. That was easy. I mean, no hang-ups, no nothing. So, and once again, I'm trying to look at this in the light. I have no idea where. Oh, here it is. I must have cut myself here somewhere. So just ignore that. I apologize, but it's looking good here so far now. And, you know, last but not least, I have some paracord, you know, all possible scenarios at a campsite. That's a nice cut right there, you know? Beautiful. Let me take a little piece. Nicely done. Okay, now, you know, another camp chore could be, you know, you would just got to make some very thin shavings for your fat wood. Nice and thin. Knife is still very sharp. So you have this here, right? You want to start something. I don't know if the spine is going to work. That's why we're going to try. Nope. Let me try the jimping area. Very little. Whoa, I just messed that up pretty good. Let me put it back. Okay, maybe the very forward part right over here seems to be sharp enough to do that. Maybe not. Oh, here we go. Excellent. Okay, so good. That's good news. So if you know, if you're not going to be able to scrape, you know, unless you modify it, at least now you know that the clip over here will be enough to spark a ferro rod. And that's, I don't care if I lit it up or not. It doesn't matter. The whole point is that it did it, you know, and that's good to know. Okay, so I'm going to clean this up. We're going to go in the kitchen, and then I'll be back out here to conclude, okay? Back in the kitchen, troops, we're going to test out this knife on some pork. I want to make pork skewers and put this on the barbecue. So after that abuse, you know, I'm going to cut the plastic off here. All right, it's easy, it's still sharp. I'll just use this to dry the meat. Okay, and it's not the most perfect piece of meat, but it's going to be good to show everybody how this knife can handle, you know, cutting up game. Okay, so here's a nice little piece right here. You know, use that to put in on a skewer. Let me cut this off right here. Just move this off to the side. And an example of using, you know, this point to get rid of some excess fat. Okay, there we go. So perfect example. All right. And I'm going to make these nice and big for the skewers. And here's a little bit more fat right here. Let's just see if I could just shave this off. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. So that'll be something good for the skewer. And I mean, I can get really intricate with making small pieces, right? So just making chunks right now for the skewers. Again, more fat. You can see how nice that's coming off, right? And I'll make another big, nice, chunky piece for the skewers. There's some more fat right here. Going to use the sharpness of the blade, get the job done. Now the point to get in here, you see that? And that fat, Perfect. So, you could definitely use this for your hunting, clean your game. Use it in the kitchen like I'm doing it right now. And trim your meats. Okay. Again, using that point. Look at that. Okay. Getting in there because I don't want to lose the meat, right? And using the sharpness of the blade to, I don't know, cut, skin, what have you here, right? See that? See how nice that is? And the belly helps. The belly is fantastic, And we are almost there with all the fat, so I'm going to use the point again. Here you go. Pocket knives, they're more than just being in your pocket, So in this, again, I love Fintiso. And, I love their knives. They're sharp. They're sharp. They're doing the job. Let me cut this. Nice big cubes. Okay. And that's going to be a nice chunk right there. Here's another one. Again, if you want to clean some of this fat up right here, you see that? Just using that point to be very effective in cleaning up, your animal or your meat. Perfect. That's a good chunk. Now, what I want to show everybody, if I want to make like a nice flat cutlet, all right, I'm just going to use the sharpness of the blade. There you go. All right. I mean, you could make nice thin slices, and then you could put these in teriyaki and then put a skewer through here, and you'll have some really good flavored teriyaki. But just an example of how you can make a cutlet, okay? But I'm going to make skewers. I want shish kebabs, Here's again, a little fat, a little sinew type of deal. We'll get rid of that. Okay. Here's that thin slice. Oh, look at that. There's some fat there. Let's use the sharpness of the blade to get rid of some of this. And again, we'll marinate this. In fact, I'll make a few more, I think. Let me get rid of this right over here. Very effective, this knife, Here's another piece for the shish kebab, the skewer. Nice little thin piece, and I can pound this out. I'm gonna marinate it. Let's keep doing it. All right, and let's do, let me just separate this piece right here. You can see, looks like it's a bit of it's like two pieces over here held together with, the fat and the sinew. So look at that. All right. Now this piece is a little thick, so let's make another thin piece. Okay. I mean, you could even butterfly if you're talented enough to butterfly, you could butterfly. But I'm gonna marinate these. In fact, you know what? Let me do this. Let's make it a little bit thinner. You see the knife is accomplishing the task that I want. All right? Let me put that there. Let's do the same thing here. See that? Just butterfly. And it's not a kitchen knife. It's just a pocket knife, a pocket folder. And you know, doing a good job so far in the kitchen. Okay, so if you don't want to use it outdoors like I did, use it in the kitchen. Now you see all that sinew? Let's see if I could use that point to get rid of all that without compromising all the meat. Okay. I should be a butcher. I mean, you know, if I've got the right knife, you could do anything over here. There you go. That's a nice thick piece. You know what? I'm going to add that to the skewer. So there you have it, troops. Okay? Just another example of using your pocket folder, you know, in the kitchen or in the camp environment. Got my skewers. I've got my thin slices over here. I'm going to be marinating right here. Here's that thin slice. Here's those cubes. Knife did a fantastic job, man. You know, love it, love it. The Fintiso Apollo, troops, a pretty awesome flipper folder, and to me, a great steal. Now, I did not experience any kind of chipping, rolling, bending, denting, etc. I think this blade or this batch that it came from, the heat treat was good. You saw what I did, and it came through with flying colors. It can do camp, it can do outdoors, and as you saw, it could do the kitchen, man. So yeah, I'm very happy. I want to thank Fintiso for once again allowing me to test out another one of their knives. I think they're worth it to me. I like this company, and you know, I like their knives. You know, if you're interested, go check out Fintiso on their website. They got a lot more pictures, a lot more details. I don't know, man. Just a fine knife for me, man. Just a fine knife. And you know, bonus, it sparks up a ferro rod with at least a clip. And you saw that clip get into the meat and, you know, cut up sinew and fat, etc. You know, to the hunters out there, another great knife. Maybe you don't like the handle colors. They come in different colors, green, orange, black, I think aluminum. So go give the website a look-see. And, you know, I hope you enjoyed this demonstration. I hope you enjoyed this video. Okay? Troops, Legionnaires, new recruits, thanks again for taking the time to check out my channel and my videos. Let me bring awareness to everybody. Hashtag 22 a day, hashtag 22 a day no more. There are veterans and active military who wants to get out of the service. They do face a lot of challenges. Unfortunately, one of these challenges is suicide. So at the end of this video, pause on the slides. There will be phone numbers that you can call to get help. Or if you need information, there's also websites that you could surf and browse. Please seek the help you all have earned and deserve. It is the holiday season. Reach out. All right, troops, legionnaires, new recruits, thanks again. Really appreciate everybody. At the ready, troops, hold the line. Take care. Legionnaires!